Good morning. As you can see by my wet hair, I just out of the shower, which I needed to warm up after my pond swim this morning. Now the sun comes out, of course, but when I went down to the pond this morning, the snow was falling so gently. I was finishing my coffee at the breakfast table and looking out going, oh my gosh, I have to get down there and be in the pond while it's snowing. And to see the snowflakes melting as they hit the water was so pretty. Very, very cold still, so I only went from one leg. When I go into the pond, I immerse myself completely and just sit there for a minute and catch my breath and just see what's happening with my body, feel where it's tingling, and know that I have the strength and my body is capable of doing this. And there is never any fear. There is never any anxious feelings about it when I go into the pond. There's never a, oh, I've got to do this. Oh, I don't want to do this kind of feeling. It's about at all. It's going into the water and knowing that I can do it and that the water is there and that my body is capable of being in that cold water without shivering. I don't shiver at all when I'm in there. Yes, my fingers and my toes were tingling and I used my judgment. I only stayed in to do one length and back, and I knew that today was not the day to be doing lots of staying in the water for too long because it was so extremely cold. That I got the benefits from the water, and that was all that I needed today. And just going down to that space is so magical. I really, really love it. So just knowing what my body needs and honoring that and trusting it, and it's not that I was afraid. I wasn't afraid of getting frostbite or anything else. I wasn't afraid of drowning or any harm coming to me. I did it from a place of informed judgment, and that's what it's all about. And that is how I am living my life these days. For too long, for several decades, I lived in a place of fear. And some of that fear was imposed, or I absorbed it from growing up in my family. Certainly some of it was justified, as my parents both fled their home countries during wartime, and there was that, you can say there's all that generational fear that might come down, and also just the way they related to us growing up. There was always fear of this and fear of that, and don't climb the tree, you're going to fall, and it was just so much worry and setting up all this fear, and I lived like that for a long, long time, to the point where I was really good at generating my own fear. Like, what if this happens? What if that happens? And of course, since doing the strengths training with my beautiful Unleash Your Strengths community, I've learned that my very bottom strength is deliberative, which is looking for the roadblocks and what if. And when I go there, I don't shine with my true things. I want to shine. I want to be able to help, to connect with the right people, to do what I am on this earth to do. And that's mainly to love in one form or another. But if I worry too much, if I get scared and start doing all these scenarios, that's not how I roll. But I also want to point out that my number one strength is input, which is gathering information. So anything that I am not afraid of comes from a place of knowledge. And I think that's very important. And certainly these days there is a lot of knowledge out there about everything. Everybody wants to be a keyboard warrior. And even my father's doctor on Monday said, I don't want you to just go on Google. I want you to go to scientific websites and get the correct information. And yes, she is a caring person. She was very respectful. But I did point out to her that there are lots of different ways of gathering information, and not all of them are what everybody's doing. And I honor that. I respect that. Good morning, Jennifer. So I guess we come around to a discussion about fear and why I don't fear anymore. And I know that when I fear, it shuts me down. It shuts my heart down. That's the number one reason why I don't want to be living in fear, because I know that it prevents me from seeing all the joy, from being grateful, from connecting with people, which is what that's what floats my boat. I love connecting with people online, but certainly in person most. And I'm just so grateful that over the past few days and weeks and months even, we're building a community of people who who want to live and who want to live freely. And I'm just so grateful to each and every one of you. And that's going to keep happening, and that's going to keep happening. So now comes the challenging decision. I've often talked about the divisiveness that's happening in society, globally, everywhere. And I'm not talking about political views or anything else. Morning, Lynn. I'm talking about choices that people are making. And I will always respect whatever choice you make about anything, because everybody has the right to make their own informed decisions. And I do hope that they are informed decisions. And that's okay. And that's okay. And I think part of it is that I believe that we all chose our path before we came down to this earthly plane, and we chose this path. We checked that box, as my friend Mal said yesterday. We checked that box that this is what we're here to do. And I know in my life, it seems like I've had so many trials and tribulations, and so much pain, and so many things that I struggled with and healed through and became stronger because of. And I know that that was all for a reason. So I get it that there are some people who will think very differently than I do about a lot of things. And one of the things that I want to address this morning is I will always respect everybody's privacy and their choices that they're making. Absolutely, 150%. Know that right from the start. And I love that you are making those choices for yourself. That is your God-given right to make those choices. However, at this point in time, I also have to make choices for myself, and they are based on informed decisions as well. And remember that in my strengths, I have belief, achiever, activator, connectedness. I believe there's a purpose for everything. And that also fuels the decisions that I make. And fortunately, my husband and my family, our two children, we feel the same way. So what I'm asking is, I don't need to know yes or no, did you, didn't you? But if you are deciding that you would like to receive that's going around right now, not going around, that is being offered very generously by many outlets. You can get it anywhere these days. If you are choosing to do this to your body, I respectfully ask that we do not connect for 4 weeks in person. That's what I'm asking of you. I don't need to know. You don't need to tell me. You can make up excuses if you wish. Oh, I can't come yet, or this and that, or this popped up. I don't need to know that, and I honor your decision. I truly do. After listening to Ange Peter speak a few weeks ago, we all make the decisions we do for a reason. And the decision that Ralph and I have come up with is that if you do choose to get the as Ange calls it, then I respectfully ask that you stay home, or at least don't come to our home for 4 weeks. And that's the way it is. If you want to know why, I can send you lots of information why, but my informed decision is made on watching several hours worth of videos from doctors and nurses and scientists, and getting a really great explanation of what this is all about. And for me, I choose to protect my family by staying away from it for 4 weeks. All right. Yeah, that was kind of a heavy conversation to have, and I struggled a little bit with how to do it. But when I went swimming this morning, as I sat in the pond because it was so very cold, I realized that when I eliminate fear, it brings up the strength. Fear is what squashes all the stuff, right? We need to be vibrating at a really high level, which is, I know, these messages that I give every morning, smiling and giving positive messages, social media doesn't want to see a lot of that, which is why I keep doing it. I'm a bit of a rebel, because when we are in a place of joy and laughter and love above all else, there's no room for both in our hearts, in our being. When we are full of love and light and laughing and compassion and caring for people, there's no room for fear. And I will not act and make decisions from a place of fear. I refuse to. I just don't do that anymore. I've done it for long enough. Not going to do it anymore. Any great decisions that I have made in my life were always made from a place of love. That big leap of faith that I took when I decided I was going to go against my parents' wishes and date someone who wasn't Ukrainian, to follow my heart when I knew that he was the one. And I'm so grateful for that. And yes, I'm getting all weepy, but anytime that I have followed my heart, it has led me to the right path, and I've always honored that, and that is what this message this morning was all about. I do love everybody. I respect your decisions, but again, if you make the decision to get the yourself, I respectfully ask that you take 4 weeks before visiting us. I can certainly do porch deliveries and things like that. I'm okay with that. I respect that. But in person, where we're close together, I choose not to. I choose not to be in that position at this time. All right. So I'm going to spend quite a bit of time today transplanting tomatoes and pepper plants. They're getting ready to, they're getting a little bit bigger. They need to grow. So I'm supporting all of the things and people who are ready to grow. And again, as I said, just really grateful for the people that are coming into our community. I'm really grateful for that. And a reminder is that at 11 o'clock, A Time to Gather is a new group that I have created. It's a private group, and this morning we have our first gathering. It's a Zoom gathering that's open to everybody, but as I said yesterday, be mindful that this is going to be a group of like-minded individuals. We're all going to be vibrating at a very high level. There is going to be no fear. And we're going to start at 11. Meditation will begin at 11:11, of course. And it's a Zoom meeting, so I have about 40 minutes with you. And we're going to do a meditation, and then we're just going to check in with each other and hang out and see what's happening. So if you would like to join us, I had the link in yesterday's video. You can check it out there. It's called A Time to Gather. You can check it out as a private group, and I can certainly let you in. All right. I love you no matter what. I will always love you, and I'll always be here. Have a fantastic day, everyone. Bye. Hope to see you soon at 11.